not you, I'm gonna come to y'all last. But have any of y'all had any experiences that were not favorable, just within this own room, with the law enforcement? Anybody had any stories that remember of having something, just a situation
joking,
that
right?
wasn't favorable? Anybody in the
You should say who hasn't.
Yeah. It might be the right question, but I'm trying to get somebody to speak.
If you're a black man in America, you have some instances with the cops.
Yeah, please.
I haven't either.
Along those lines, I mean, I grew up here, and I'm from here, Cobb County, and when I was in college, I was in sociology class, and I think I just thought it was really, really fascinating, and I think it was good to show different perspectives on the same institution, our police, our law enforcement. But the instructor, I don't know if I think we all know what's going on, black and white. We all know that there's somewhat of an imbalance at times. But the instructor asked about, and the school I went to was mostly white. It's only like a handful of black. Okay, okay, yeah. So there's only a couple of us.
6%.
What school is that?
Air Force Academy,
Yeah.
Colorado Springs. And the sociology instructor asked about how we approach the police. All right. So he asked, so if you're out, when you were growing up, if you're out, what did your parents tell you if you were in trouble or if something was going on? What do you do? And our white kids, oh yeah, you call the police or whatever. But my answer was different because my mom never told me to do that. My mom always told me when I went out, she said, "Well, Kelvin, watch out for the police." So it's like a completely different mindset on this law enforcement institution. I'm supposed to watch out for the police, right? But so when I said that, and like everybody in class was like, "What are you doing? What's wrong with you?" I mean, that's just how it is. I'm not saying that police are tracking us down and hunting us. And I explained that's not the case, but you can get into trouble as a young black man. I know in Cobb County, and maybe it's different now, but I know in the 80s it was a little tricky, a little shaky at times because I've gotten pulled over for being too close. Do y'all know the stoplight? There's a white line at every stop sign, at every stoplight. Right? So man, I was pulled over for being too close to that white line.
What?
Yeah.
For being too close to crossing.
Being too close to the white line.
Pedestrian crossing.
Train crossing, what they
When
call
I
it.
was in high school. This is when I was in high school.
What do y'all mean? What? Like y'all don't?
That's the
Y'all
law.
don't all have silly stories for why you were stopped? Because I think anybody's got a silly story for being stopped.
I got stopped for weaving, and then when he stopped me, he told me I was drunk and I hadn't had one drink. So I had to, in the middle of the winter, do one of those touch your nose, and I hadn't had not one drink.
Well, in this case, it was. I had a couple of my friends. It was like 3 young teenage black guys driving. So I guess that's the reason to pull people over at times. If you pull up too close to the white line, he pulled me over. He gave me a ticket. He just wanted to know what we were doing. And he said, y'all don't get in trouble.
He was hoping he'd smell weed in the car.
Was it a white officer?
Yeah, it was on Six Flags Drive. I don't know if y'all know what Six
but
Flags Drive.
you said when you was in high school, I think, and the white kids responded this way.
No, that was college.
Well, college.
College.
Okay, but the fundamental of it was that your response was
My mother told me, she taught me to do something differently.
right. So
She
it's like
said
a
to
fear
watch
that
out.
was passed along.
No, she.
Well, no,
she
I'm
didn't
saying,
tell me be fearful of it. I'm saying be careful.
Right. So we're taught. That's what I'm saying. We're taught from one perspective.
I think it's very fair. I think it's very. If I could jump in. I think
That's the message. I wanted to show that contrast.
Yeah, it was good. It was beautiful. I'm glad you
I wanna
did.
show that
'Cause
contrast.
I actually want to address that contrast, very much so. But I hear, and I think you're onto something, and that's kind of where I want to go. But I just wanted to find out, had anybody else been raised with that concept? Because I know in my 3 stoplight town, I still was told the very same thing. He grew up in Atlanta, and I grew up in a 3 stoplight town, and still was told, raised the very same way. Watch out for the cops. Yeah, please.
I was gonna say, you can be as polite and respectful all you want, but at some point when you're dealing with getting pulled over on more than one occasion, you have somewhere to be. And if you say something that is, even, a hint of not being the utmost respectful, you're, possibly on the ground or,
But-
you know,
but
be
please-
harassed. At
but
some
that's
point, you're
not-
like,
You
I
just
don't
go to traffic
No, no,
court.
no, 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 no. Let her finish, let her finish, y'all.
Who's in traffic court?
Let her finish, let her finish.
It happens
Let her
disproportionately.
finish, let her finish.
It happens disproportionately to
I'm gonna go
black
here, then I'll
people,
come back
but,
to you. What?
you know, I've had experiences, my friends have had experiences, and, you know, it happens not only based on race, it's disproportionately based on race, but the problem is that, you know, at some point, you have to be able to, you know, voice your opinion and not just accept it just because they're the authority.
Go ahead, and I'll come back to you.
I grew up in Forest Park, down in southwest Atlanta. Okay, I grew up in it. I grew up in a time during the '90s, '92 to '96. I was in high school, but also middle school. I grew up in a time where black folks did not live past Old Dixie Highway, going on south down South Lake Mall, Henry County area. I'm tired of all the talking. The white folks in Ferguson has raised $300,000 for the defense fund of that police officer. Second of all, we have to have accountability of ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay? That police officer has power and authority. One, power because he has that badge and everything that comes with it. The authority is he has a pistol and people are going to support him because he's not operating on his own. He's operating on behalf of the council, the city mayor, the city manager. He's also acting on behalf of his constituents or people that support the mayor and the council member. I was pulled over, and this is a brother of mine. My fiance and his wife are best friends, went to Morehouse School of Medicine and all that good stuff. He invited me out tonight. I put on my Facebook, my cousin is a major overseas. He dropped his car off at my home. I'm also a captain in the reserves. So I don't like driving other people's cars, but I drove it anyway, just to make sure the engine is whatever, once a month. 2 minutes from my home. I actually own 6 houses outright on that road that I pulled off on. 2 condos down the road, another house, and 2 other houses. 11 houses in the area. Stopped at a red light. First vehicle at the red light. When the light turned green, I crossed over to get my pizza, and a police officer pulled me over. I pulled over into the parking area, and I remember my father, Sergeant Major Bilbrew, said, "Son, when a police officer pull you over, it is yes sir, no sir, hands in view. And for heaven's sake, when he walks to the car, you speak through what you're gonna do. Sir, may I see your license and this, that, and the other. Sir, I'm gonna use my left hand and go in my pocket." What are we teaching our children at home? When you look at the Ferguson and all this other stuff, it is as though some of the people on my Facebook, and I read them out real fast, they are teaching our children to bulk power and authority. As if they got $500,000 to go to court and fight this or bury their child. That's one. Number two, I asked the officer, I said, "Well, sir, you know, after he got my information, he said, 'Hey, you know, I'll pull you over.' I said, 'No, sir, I was stopped at a red light.' He said, 'Because your tag, there's no insurance on, is running no insurance.' Okay, there's 2 ways you're gonna run the tag. One, you have these vehicles, the cops with all these cameras on the left and right, those are called automatic tag scanners. So as you pass them, it reads hundreds of tags at a time. And then it isolates your vehicle if you're in the wrong. Number 2, he gets behind you and he runs your tag. Okay, this is what I was driving. An Avalanche, big rims, orange. Some crap I'll never drive. I helped you move when I told you I ain't driving. Didn't I tell you to drive that truck? You said, "No, man, you drive it." Pull me over. So one, that automatically, young black guy, windows down. What do you think he was doing? I knew what he was doing. But make a long story short, I was able to get his wife on the phone, assistant district attorney out at Fort Gordon, okay, say, "Hey, USAA is not running this and the other." Make a long story short, the guy, we went through from, I pulled up the digital insurance card to actually calling USAA, which is a service member bank and insurance company, getting them on the phone, and they were going to transfer, say, "How you doing, ma'am? This is Captain Carell Washington Bilbrew. I need to verify." "Oh, Captain Bilbrew, such and such. You have plenty of stuff with us. Major Ray has everything with us, and everything's active." 3 cop cars, and 6 officers later, 45 minutes later, they could do nothing but shake my hand and apologize. What am I telling you? We've been killed, we've been beat, we've been doing a lot of stuff as African Americans, even when there was no hip hop out there talking about kill cop, F women, and giving the image that we Billy Badass. We've been killed since Dr. King, when everybody dressed like grown men and acted like grown men and were in the house with their family. Now you have this image out here that perpetuates that type of lifestyle. So when we pulled over and we do speak without giving that type of respect to power and authority, what do you think they're gonna do to us?
Very good point.
So that's what I want to say.
Now, I love it, brother. If you look at the actual program, there's a quote from David Banner. It says, "Black men have to watch," and these are actually tweets that he put out after the Ferguson situation. He says, "Black men have to watch what color we wear, what hood we are in. The cops, whites, and blacks. No hoodie, no white tees, no loud radios." Damn. This is from David Banner.
Oh, you got it.
hip-hop.